So you've been doing intermittent fasting and you're like, okay, I want to be doing this right, you know, or I want to be losing some weight. Like, what's happening? Why am I doing this intermittent fasting thing that everybody else has lost weight on and it's not working for me? All right, so I get it. And what I'm going to do in this video right now is I'm going to give you the top 7 mistakes that you might be making while trying to do intermittent fasting. And I promise you, number 5, you're likely doing right now. All right, so before I give you the tips, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Ileka Falette, mom of 4, who lost 120 pounds through intermittent fasting. Yes, that's why I'm talking about this. Keto, low-carb eating, and exercise, and of course, changing my relationship with food. I've kept the weight off for 8 years, and during that 8 years, I became a personal trainer and mindset coach and wellness coach, helped thousands of women do the exact same thing, whether they lost 30 pounds, 100 pounds, 50 pounds, reach their goals, feel better, and feel good in their skin again. All right, so that's what I did. And now I actually have a low-cost community called Fit Mommy Makeover membership, and you can actually get into, just go to fitmommymakeover.co or fitmommymakeover.net and check out the membership. If you decide to join, it's cancel anytime, but I would say get in there now because the cost is pretty low, and we're really making an impact. All right, we have live sessions, live coaching calls, literally, that you get in at this price. So check it out. Anyways, let's get to this video. All right, because I don't want to be doing that all day. All right, so let's get into this video. Okay, so let me give you these 7 tips on intermittent fasting, the mistakes that you may be making on why it's not actually working for you, or why it's not working long term, and why your results have stalled or you actually started gaining weight again. All right, so let's get into it. Anyways, the first thing is you may not be eating enough. So many times what people do is, in this intermittent fasting journey, basically they're like, okay, I'm gonna eat during my 8-hour window and fast for 16 hours. And so what starts to happen is they're doing okay. They're eating their first meal at noon, might eat a snack or another meal at 4 p.m. and then 7 o'clock they eat their last meal, and they're doing all right. They're seeing results, the weight's coming off, awesome, right? Over time, as you start to stall, as you start to see, okay, first week I lost 5 pounds, second week I lost 3, third week I lost another 4 pounds, and then you start seeing these numbers go down and down. So you might lose a pound, you might not lose any weight, and then you might see a week where your weight goes up and you're like, what the heck is happening? Like, I've been doing this intermittent fasting thing and I don't know why it's not working anymore. So then you start shortening your window more and more till you get to the point where you're doing OMAD, you're eating 1 meal a day, and it ends up being like a side salad from McDonald's. And you're like, shoot, right? So let me tell you what happened in that situation. Basically, because you weren't eating enough, yes, the weight was coming off, because if we don't eat, the weight's gonna come off, right? But what started happening is your body got used to you not eating. So now anything you ate, your body tried to hold on to. On top of that, as you were losing weight, you were essentially losing fat and muscle mass. So now your muscle is coming off. And we all know that muscle is what burns fat. So the more muscle you have, the more fat you're able to burn, and how quickly you're able to burn fat. Of course, we all talk about strength training and cardio and all this other stuff. Cardio burns calories, that's all good. And it's gonna burn overall calories, but muscle is what is burning fat. So if you have more muscle, your metabolism is usually higher and it's gonna be burning that fat off quicker. But when you lost the weight through intermittent fasting by eating less and less and less, so where you're just having that side salad, once a day, every 24 hours, a side salad, you're getting about 100 calories in every 24 hours. Yes, the weight's flying off, but so is your muscle. So now when you actually eat a regular meal, your body holds on to it, because it's gonna take forever for it to process, or for your body to burn it off, because your metabolism is a snail's pace now. Because you need the muscle. When muscle is burning fat, it's also helping to maintain your metabolism. So now your metabolism is at a snail pace because you've beaten off all your muscle by eating 100 calories a day. So the first thing that so many people do, first mistake that they make, is not eating enough. You get to the point where it's like you aren't seeing results, so you start eating less and less and less. And then you've slowed down your metabolism and you're not losing any weight. Because anything you eat at this point is just gonna add weight. right? And you can't fast forever. We need nutrients. So you also lost a lot of muscle mass, and that's where number 2 comes in. So the second mistake so many people make, let's say you are eating enough, you may not be eating enough protein. And especially if you're a woman over the age of 30, and I like to say 35 just because, but if you're over the age of 30, so there have been studies done that after the age of 30, women are losing anywhere between 1 and 3% of muscle mass every year. So if you are 52, that's 22 years of 1 to 3%, right? And so the reason I say that is because what helps to preserve that muscle mass is getting enough protein in. And so if you're doing number 2, not getting enough protein in your intermittent fasting, then what's happening is you're right there, you're letting your protein die off. I don't want to say die off, but your body is already, reducing the amount of your muscle mass is already going away at 1 to 3% a year, right? And we get to preserve that muscle mass by getting enough protein in, doing some strength training, some other things that I've talked about that I teach in the membership and I've talked about in other videos, right? So it's already trying to dwindle. I can't think of the word, but anyways, it's already reducing, right? So we get to keep that. So if you're not getting any protein or getting way less than you're supposed to be, it's, you're not helping the process, basically. So what you want to do is be getting enough protein in so that the intermittent fasting is actually working with your body, with your health, right? To promote not just the weight loss, but sustained muscle mass and overall health. So you want to ensure that you're getting enough protein. And that's one of the mistakes that so many people make with intermittent fasting, is they're not getting enough protein in because you're just trying to get in whatever during that window, right? Speaking of eating whatever during that window, let's go to number 3. All right. Number 3 is why you may not be seeing results in intermittent fasting is actually I was talking to a friend, this was years ago. I mean, literally like 5 years ago. And she was doing intermittent fasting. She just heard about it. And I was already doing weight loss coaching, but I don't have those conversations necessarily with my friends as much unless they ask me, because I'm not about to be, I used to do this, be out there like, girl, you got to do this. No, I'm not about to be out here telling you all the things that you need to do, because then you stop talking to me. You be like, no. You always trying to give me tips and advice on this. I don't want any more advice, so I ain't answering the phone, right? I don't want to lose no friends like that, right? Or family members. So really, I'm only going to give you advice if you ask me for it, friends and family, right? But anyway, so she was talking about how she was doing intermittent fasting. And I was like, oh, cool, I love that. I do intermittent fasting as well. She's like, yeah, girl, I only eat between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. and I eat whatever I want during that time. I be getting fried chicken, fried fish. I be eating, I get, if I want McDonald's or some pizza or whatever, it's the coolest thing because you can eat whatever you want. And then, then you don't eat for 12 hours, for 16 hours and you lose weight. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I'd already lost 10 pounds. And I was like, well, girl, you're killing it. Do you? Right? And I mean, she already knew. She had been on diets forever too. She knew that she shouldn't have been eating that stuff. But, so I wasn't it was no reason for me to say, girl, why are you eating all these fried foods? It's not my business. That's but I was like, okay. So that's what she was doing. And she actually started losing some weight. And she was so happy about it. But what started to happen was, over time, her body was like getting drained and tired. And so she was wondering, she's like, I'm eating enough, right? Why is my body so drained, tired, like beat up? And it was like, you're not getting the nutrients that you need. We can't just eat whatever we want during the feasting time. It's not like we're not out here just like, you know what? Oh, it's feasting time. It's these 8 hours. Go on, get me this pizza from, let me go on to Pizza Hut and eat all the pizza and do all this stuff because, I got 8 hours to eat, so I'm eating it all. Let me go on Golden Corral and or Old Country Buffet and just go for it. Like, no, right? We don't want to do that and that's a big mistake, right? That's one of the mistakes, is eating whatever during that time. You still want to eat foods that are going to nourish your body, right? You still want to eat foods that are going to give you enough to be able to sustain, to feel good, to have energy. Because remember, food is a part of the fuel for our bodies. And if you're not getting the fuel, then you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be, you could start getting like feel drained. You're gonna potentially even have some like down feelings and stuff like that. Food is all, like, a lot of what we eat, it impacts our brain, it impacts our body. Of course, it also could impact things like diabetes and high cholesterol and, all of those other ailments, right? You could even be losing weight and you go to your doctor and your numbers are worse. Why? Because you thought you just eat whatever you wanted during intermittent fasting, right? No, let's stay healthy still on this journey, and whatever that is for you. So, we know healthy isn't going to be eating all the fried chicken and fried fish and, McDonald's or whatever, right? But maybe you're like, I'm not a low carb girl, I'm not this, I'm not that. That's cool. Get your oatmeal or whatever it is that you deem as healthy and eat those things during the 8 hours. That's going to give you better results than just eating whatever during the 8 hours, right? At least be getting things that are going to nourish your body, fill you up so you're not starving during the other during the other 16 hours, right? Like giving you what you need, so that's the thing. You want to be eating the right food. So for me, what I tell the women that I work with, especially the women in the Fit Mommy Makeover membership, one of the things that we talk about is how we're going to eat, right? And it's about choice. Some people are eating like balanced, right? So the balanced way of eating, meaning like they're making sure they're getting this amount, they're eating a certain amount of carbs, a certain amount of protein. It's a balanced way of eating, right? Some people, and those people may want to track and everything. I don't track, I can't. But some people are tracking, right? I think it's good to track. If you can track, if you can sustain that, go for it. Even if you just do it for the first month and then you kind of can eyeball it, go for it. But anyways, and then some people are doing like an intuitive eating. So they eat when they're hungry, when they're feeling like they need the thing. Now, intuitive eating, it takes some time to get there because you want to make sure that you're actually listening to your body and doing what your body's telling you to do versus just doing what you're feeling like doing in the moment. So intuitive eating can take some work, right? So that's something that it could literally take years to get to the intuitive eating point. And many people have been on, diets and things like that and programs forever. So maybe they can, get there a little faster too. So some people are doing intuitive eating. Others are doing more of a low carb or a keto eating during intermittent fasting. So they're mixing intermittent fasting and keto, or intermittent fasting and paleo or vegan or, whatever it is. And so we support them through that process because, it's important to look at what you're going to eat, right? So someone like me, I would have, 12, let's say I was doing a 12 to 8. I would probably have a cup of coffee, still at like 10 a.m. because I'm going to have my coffee, right? And then at noon, I would likely have my first meal and either be a protein shake or like some eggs and a meat, right? Probably a good deal of meat because I need a significant amount of protein. So I would have like a good deal of meat and probably 3 eggs or something. So I'm getting some fat and some protein in. Then middle of the day, I'd have my protein shake. So I make a protein shake that has about 50 grams of protein in it. And so I would have that, and it's not all coming from the protein. I'm putting other things in there that are giving me the protein. Anyway, so I would probably have that in the middle of the day, or like, 3 o'clock or something, a few hours after I had breakfast. And then maybe around 6:30 or 7, I would have a meal where, I've made a meal for the family. We'd have like a protein, vegetable, and fat, and they would have, they might have rice or something. I probably wouldn't eat the rice with them. But that's what I would have while doing intermittent fasting. And that's pretty much what I eat, right? That's how I eat. And so, but someone else who's doing something different, we would just manage and work through their meal plan so that it aligns with the way that they want to eat. That's super important, right? So creating something that aligns with how you eat so that you're eating the right things during your eating window. Super important, right, to eat the right things while doing intermittent fasting, because that is a huge mistake that a lot of people make, right? So the next one, I think this is number 4, right? The fourth mistake that people make during intermittent fasting, we already talked about undereating, right? Not eating enough. The other thing that some people do is overeat during their feasting window. They're like, I've been waiting all day to eat, so I'm gonna eat. And so they're literally eating pretty much the entire 8 hours. Like every hour they got something in their mouth, right? And likely not the right things, but sometimes they're eating Doritos, whatever, right? Or they're just eating a bunch. So they're overeating. So instead of getting, let's say they should be eating, somewhere like, I don't know, 1,800 calories for the day, they're up there eating 3,000 because they're eating a massive breakfast. They were starving, so they're eating it all at 12 p.m., right? They got waffles, pancakes, whatever, right? They're killing it. And then they're eating again 2 hours later, and now they got some, a bag of chips or whatever, or even almonds, right? They're like, oh, I'm trying to stay healthy, so they're eating a bunch of almonds, and they getting handfuls and handfuls, snacking the entire time during the 8-hour window. I will tell you, I had actually done that before. I was like, I'm only eating, I remember when I tried to do intermittent fasting a long time ago, right? And I was like, okay, if I'm only eating this time, I'm gonna be hungry. So I would just constantly be like snacking. I'd be eating almonds, I'd be eating all kinds of stuff, just snacking throughout the day. So, and that is not the reason, like that's not how it's supposed to work, right? So it's supposed to be you're eating because you want to be eating based off of satiation, right? If I'm no longer hungry, I'm not gonna eat anything. You want to be at that point. And so if you're constantly snacking, your body is like not really understanding what to do. Because one of the points of intermittent fasting is that during your fasting time, your body is like being able to like process the food without any extra distractions of more food, right? Your insulin levels are able to be sustained and balanced during that time. You're able to hit autophagy because you're fasting for, let's say 16 hours or more, right? Those are the reasons. And so if you're eating crazy, right, eating way too much during your feasting window, what happens is your body has a lot to work on during your fasting time. And that could be why you're not seeing the results. Because intermittent fasting doesn't make you lose weight just because you're eating during an 8-hour window, right? It's because of, remember, what you're eating and then how much you're eating too, and that your body gets to process it. So like it helps that you're only eating during the 8-hour window or 4-hour, whatever that is, but you want to ensure that you're eating enough, but not too much. You don't want to go crazy. That's all I'm saying. And I've seen it where folks are snacking during these 8 hours, or they were waiting to get to that feasting window because they were so hungry and they're overeating. So that's a mistake that's a common mistake made during intermittent fasting, is eating too much during that window. Number 5 is not getting enough water in. So this is the one that you may be doing right now, right? There's a lot of people who are drinking, who are not drinking enough water. Like there have been studies shown that in America, in the United States, that most people are actually dehydrated, right? And it doesn't mean that you're walking around like, right? But I don't know why that was dehydrated for me. I think that was like a zombie. But anyways, it doesn't mean that you're walking around like that. But what it means is that you're not getting enough fluids, enough water for what your body needs. And you may not even realize it. And so that can show up like headaches, where you're randomly getting these headaches and like, I don't know why I have a headache. It could show up like muscle cramps or leg cramps, like Charlie horses. Remember when we were little, we'd be calling it Charlie horse. Oh, I got a Charlie horse. It can show up like that. It can show up in like your feet locking up. It could show up in like dry mouth. It could show up in you being extra tired, fainting, like all kinds of things. It could even show up in feeling hungry when you're not hungry, right? So you just ate and you're like, why am I hungry? Because we don't know the difference between thirst and hunger. Our bodies may not know at certain times. So it can show up in many ways. So you want to ensure that you are hydrated enough. Also, getting enough water, not only does it help with hydration, but it also helps when you're processing during the fasting window, when you're processing your food, right? And your body's processing the food and autophagy and all that stuff. That can help. The other thing it helps with is hunger. If it is 10 a.m. and your window starts at noon, drinking enough water can help you feel satiated. Because many times you actually, like I said earlier, are not hungry, you're actually thirsty, but you don't know it because the body doesn't always know the difference, right? So getting enough water in really helps to be successful on this intermittent fasting journey. So make sure you're getting enough water in. Water can show up enough could be different for different people. I know for me, I actually need a significant amount of water. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. I have to drink like 140 ounces of water every day. Either that or I've got to take electrolytes, and sometimes I have to do both. Like my body just needs water, and it's likely because I'm exercising, I sweat, you know, all of those things. So my body, and I pee a lot, so my body is like constantly releasing the water, so it just needs more. But I tend to need a significant amount of water, more than most people. You may not need 140 ounces, but I promise you, if you're only drinking like 35 ounces a day, you need more than that, right? I would say most people need somewhere in around 90, between 90 and 120, but that's just my guess, right? So look at also look at your body size, right? If you're 135 pounds, you may not need 90 ounces of water, right? But if you are 235 pounds, you probably need 90 ounces of water. So get to know what that means for you. And again, coffee doesn't replace water. So if you're counting your coffee as fluid, it does not. But other things can, right? So maybe you're drinking tea, or you're drinking decaffeinated tea, or you're drinking herbal tea, things like that, or you're drinking sparkling water, and you know, those types of things. You can use that if you want. Maybe even your pre-workout water, or whatever, the water you're drinking with your pre-workout, all of that, right? You can count some of that, but I would say look at how much fluid you're getting and ensure you're getting at least 90 ounces. That's super important to stay hydrated, because being hydrated is actually helpful on this weight loss journey, all right? Again, it helps with processing the food, it helps with all that digestion, everything, all right? So that's number 5. All right, so number six, and this you may have done before. Ideally, you're not doing it right now, but you've done this before. Quitting too soon. So you've quit this journey because you felt like it wasn't working, right? You've quit it because you felt like it doesn't feel like something you can do, doesn't feel like a lifestyle. You're feeling like it's just too much and it's feeling hard and you're starving or whatever. And so you've quit because you're not seeing what you want to see, or you're not feeling like you want to feel. Maybe you even quit because of some of the things that we talked about in the first 5 steps. You quit because you were tired, you had no energy, you were drained, and you were starving because you weren't eating enough, you weren't getting enough protein, you know, or you stalled because you started getting weight because your metabolism went down, right? Once you get through all those, then you know this could work, right? So you may be quitting too soon, and you quit when things were working, when things were about to start working or about to happen for you. And so quitting too soon means that you're not going to get results. Many times people quit and now they miss out on the results they wanted. So instead of quitting, maybe getting guidance and support, right? That's going to help way more than quitting, because quitting isn't going to get you any results. Like, think about it. How many things have you done where you went all the way through, you got to the finish line? Let's say something like your diploma, right? Your high school diploma or college degree, right? You went all the way through, and because you went all the way through, you're able to get the job that you got. Maybe you're able to meet your spouse in college. That's me. Maybe you're able to, you know, have beautiful children, whatever it was, right? That you have now, you got because you completed that degree or that diploma, right? Whereas had you quit early, so many things we miss. You wouldn't have this job. You may not even, if you quit and decided not to stay in college after 6 months or whatever, right? Now you don't meet your spouse, right? Whatever it is, right? These things don't happen because you quit early. And so many times if you sustain it, you get to win. So keep going, but just get the guidance and support you need. Use these tips that we just talked about, or get into Fit Mommy Makeover membership. Like, you know, not everybody obviously can just hop right in, but you'll get in, we'll talk, we'll make sure, you know, and of course you can cancel anytime, but that's the point, right? Do things that are going to help you sustain on this journey. All right. So that's number 6. Do not quit before you've actually gone through and made sure that this was working, that this could work for you, that you were doing it right. All right. Because if you don't have the guidance, if you don't have the support that you need, if you don't have the research and how to do this for you so that you can sustain it long term, then of course it's not going to work long term. Because it's like jumping into something where you don't know what you're doing, you know. And it's okay. A lot of times we don't know what we're doing, right? But it's cool to go and seek guidance, get the information, learn from someone who knows what they're doing, and then get to doing it. All right. So that's number 6, is quitting too soon because it's not working, right? All right. So number 7, and this is probably the biggest one, so that's why I saved it to last. A lot of times people always think that they should just, oh, you know, let me just get the first 2. No. Number 7 is the one you want to get, right? That's why I saved it to last, because you got to watch the whole video to get it. All right. So number 7 is accountability and community support, right? What do I mean by that? Basically, what I mean by that is when you are sitting in front of the pantry at 9:22 p.m., starving or bored, right? Because many times we're not eating because we're hungry. We're eating because we're bored, right? So when you're sitting there in front of the pantry at 9:22 p.m., bored, ready to grab whatever, having a community, whether it be, you might have a community on Facebook, like ours is not on, Fit Mommy Makeover membership is not on Facebook. Our low-cost community is not on Facebook. It's on our own app. But you might have a community on Facebook that you can go to and say, y'all, I am in front of this doggone pantry, help me. And maybe there's other people who are like, girl, don't do it, or whatever, right? Or you might have a friend group that all y'all talk about your health together, whatever that looks like for you. Right? Community is super important. And many times people who are not successful on this journey of intermittent fasting, it's because they don't have that community and accountability, right? Nobody is holding them to it. And that's a big thing, right? Because many times we're just doing it for ourselves. Like, girl, I just want to lose weight. I want to feel better. Or I just want to lose weight so I can go on this vacation or whatever it is, right? There's no accountability to sustain. There's no one saying, hey, you said you were going to do this, but you didn't. You know, like there's nothing there. Whereas like if you have something where you can actually reach out to people and say, hey, I'm messing up, I need help, you know, or mayday, mayday, y'all, I'm in front of the pantry again, right? Or I need to decide what I'm going to do this week. I need to commit to something for this week so that I can, you know, stick to it, so I can be healthy, so I can stay on this journey, so I can actually see results, so I can make this a lifestyle and do it long term. If you don't have that accountability and that community to push you to make the commitments or push you to stick to the commitments that you made, then it's so easy to either quit or feel like a failure because it's not working, right? So that's the thing, having that community, whether it's a group of friends, whether it's a Facebook group, or whether it's or whether you decide to join Fit Mommy Makeover membership, right? Whichever you do something. Don't just sit there like I can do it by myself, because I've said this time and time again. No one who has been successful on this journey long term has done it by themselves, and that includes myself. That includes me, right? If you have lost a significant amount of weight and kept it off for multiple years, you had help. You had some sort of help, and many times that's in the form of guidance, community, accountability, and support, right? And that's what I'm talking about. Those are the 7 mistakes that you're probably making on your intermittent fasting journey and wondering why it's not working, right? It gets to work for you, okay? Look at these steps, see which ones apply to you, and change it, okay? Change that thing so this can work for you, all right? All right, so I'm so glad you joined us. This is a longer video than I was hoping, but anyways, I hope you got some great tips from it, and I hope you're successful on your journey. Be sure to subscribe, comment, let us know if you're pushing forward and which of these steps impacted you the most, and let's keep this journey going. Also, don't forget to go to ilekafalette.com and check out our newsletter. And also and look into Fit Mommy Makeover membership if it's the right one for you. All right. I will talk to you all later. Be sure to prioritize your health, and let's get healthy together. Take care.
Don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to watch my mom's next video.